Channel. I'm here with Miss Eve. Hi! My bestie. And guys, we have to show you the view right now. What's this called again?
The Fourth Road Bridge.
The Fourth Road Bridge. There's 3 bridges. Eve was just explaining to me, this one's for trains, right?
Yeah, this is the oldest one and it's for trains. That next one was like built for cars, but then it started to get too busy, so they've now built another one, which is the even further one, and that one's for like general traffic, and this one is for lorries and taxis and buses.
Wow, so we're looking at this really nice view.
Yeah, and this is also where cruise ships port if they ever come to Edinburgh.
Oh yeah, there's like
yeah,
cargo ships. Well, in case you didn't know, we are currently in Edinburgh in Scotland because Eve is from here. Yeah. And we're gonna do just a chatty, I almost said get ready with me, it's not me. We're just gonna do a chatty little video. We've got our coffees here, and honestly, Eve and I just have the best time hanging out, and this is what we've been doing these entire past 9 days that I've been visiting her. So we figured we'd just take you along on a normal conversation we would have. Yeah. And some of you guys wanted to see that, so you're also our friends. And now you get to join the friendship group.
Yeah, it's like you're sat in the car with us.
Oh, that's what it is, a drive with us.
Yeah, but kind of just to sit in the car with us.
Yeah. Here's a little introduction to who we are, if you didn't know already. This is my best friend, Eve. We've lived together for 10 months while we were on board a cruise ship, and also before the cruise ship as well, in rehearsals.
Yeah, so we've known each other a year now.
Yeah. Only
feels
a year.
Like, yeah, it feels like a lot longer than that.
We have basically become sisters at this point.
I'm Eve. There is a video on Kristine's channel that's all about me.
Yeah,
if you
so
want to
check that out
if you're interested. But yeah, I'm Scottish. I'm from Edinburgh. I'm currently living in London, but we met on cruise ships. Like I'd done a couple of cruise ships before. Kristine had done one before, and then we both did our last one together. I'd heard about you like through a friend, and then we ended up being roommates in Miami, and at that point you don't have to be roommates with that person for the whole contract, but I asked her, I was like, could you please be my roommate for the whole contract?
We just got on so well. Thank goodness we lived together for 10 months and ended up still liking each other by the end of it.
So since like we've been back what, like just over 2 months now?
Yeah.
And we've already seen each other twice.
Yeah. We finished our contract 2 months ago, and I've now visited Eve in London, and then I visited her in London again, and now she's showing me Edinburgh. So yeah, Edinburgh's been a super fun hometown date, as you guys can see in the last video. And
I've been loving getting to be a little bit of a tourist.
Yeah.
Because I love Edinburgh.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's so fun to like go into the Scottish stores, like the tourist stores.
The souvenir shops.
Yeah. You need to do that more in your hometown, everyone.
I asked my Patreon members some things that they might want to ask me and Eve, some topics they want us to talk about, so I'm going to read out a few of those and see what they want us to talk about. What got you into dance and performance? Where do you see yourself in the future? Do you see yourself continuing on cruise ships or have other goals? And what keeps you motivated to achieve those goals?
Okay, wow. Got into dance when I was 3. My mum knew someone that recommended this dance school, and they were great. So I literally stayed there from when I was 3 until when I was 17. And I just loved it. It started as a hobby, obviously, as most people it would, and then kind of got to the point where I had to pick if I wanted to do that or if I wanted to do something else. So when I was 17, I thought, why not just audition for places, see if I get in? Because in the UK we'd have like musical theatre like colleges or like dance colleges that just specialise in dance. Got in, did 3 years there, and then got my first contract with Royal. Currently living in London, hopefully gonna try and get some dance jobs on land. Finished with cruise ships for now. Who knows in the future, but for now I'm just having a moment of trying to find somewhere on land, which is exciting. It's scary, but it's exciting. I'm doing other things. I'm really into Pilates, so I'm doing that, like teaching qualification, but I'm still dancing, and the main priority is dance. How do I stay motivated? It's hard. You have to be self-motivated, which is really difficult.
I feel like it's just who you are, though.
Yeah, and you just
you are just a very motivated person.
Thank you.
You're very driven.
Thank you.
You've got to. In our career, you don't get anywhere if you're not driven by yourself. Like, if you're depending on someone else, you're not going to get anywhere.
So it's like about taking yourself to like classes and doing the work yourself, I guess. And then hopefully one day someone will want me to be in their show. Motivation, I also think it comes from like whenever I see a show or something, then I'm like, oh, you get reminded why you want to do it. And like there's little moments of like spark, I guess, where you're like, oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, how I got into dance, just as a lot of people, I did baby ballet. Very long story short, I love to do a little bit of everything. I love doing like ice skating, gymnastics. I played soccer, football.
I didn't know that.
I did for a second. I tried volleyball, didn't make the team, that's okay. Cheerleading, like I just tried a little bit of everything, but dance was always the thing that I would come back to. And I was thankful my parents always just let me like explore my options, see what I like to do. But I always came back to dance every single time. Moved to a very small town when I was in my teenage years, and in that town I realized, because we didn't have many opportunities, I think the fire got lit in me to like, now I knew that this was what I was meant to do.
Yeah. If anyone is self-motivated, it's Kristine. Like she says, I'm self-motivated. No. Kristine is the most self-motivated person I've ever met.
Oh,
you are.
Just, I don't know, it lit a fire in me to go out and find my own opportunities. There was just no places I could train, so I just kind of trained myself. Yeah,
we had quite opposite experiences in that way, I guess.
Eve will attest to the same thing, but there's some different level of adrenaline when you're on stage, and like that will motivate you so much.
Yeah.
And it's funny because then there's some people who are like, I could never be on a stage, and they love watching. So everyone's just different.
Yeah, but it's
kind of so fueled by like that being on stage.
And that adrenaline really is from dancing. Like there's other things like that if I was to go on stage and have to do like a public speech or something, I could never do.
Yeah, I couldn't. That's my biggest fear.
So like it's funny because people are like, oh, I could never go and dance on stage. But then I'm like, yeah, but you might do a conference to like thousands of people.
And
like,
I couldn't do that.
I couldn't do that, yeah.
Goals? I'll get into this even more in some of my next videos. But right now, a lot of my goals have to do with trying to grow this channel, if I'm being completely honest. There's been a lot of opportunities that have come to me through this, and I've always loved making videos, but like I've really found a passion in it. I'm trying to now align that with what I want to do in career-wise in dance. We're all gonna figure that out together, so stay along for the ride. But traveling, making videos, dancing, that's what I love to do. And Eve will also attest to this. I'm very motivated to make that happen.
Very. Again, the self-motivation is ridiculous, so it's gonna happen. Like you're gonna put the hard work in, so it's going to happen.
Next one. Honestly, just love listening to y'all talk and random chit chat. That's exactly what we do all the time. What's life advice you would give to your younger self? To pursue dance.
I would tell her to not worry as much. I would also tell younger Eve, and I'm talking like maybe like when I was like 9, 10, 11, 12 probably, just keep working hard. I was such a hard worker, but I didn't feel like I was getting much from it. Like I never won anything. I was never picked for anything. I was just like, just wasn't getting seen. And all the ones that were getting seen in the end didn't have the same like drive and motivation, and they didn't have the love for it, so they've all stopped now. And I used to look at them and be like, I want to be like you, but in the end they actually didn't have the passion. I'd tell her, I'd be like, it's gonna work out. You're gonna come into your own and people are gonna like what you're doing. Be proud of like what you have to offer, because I was always looking at like the smaller, like more bendy girls. I'd be like, I really want to be like them, and like the ones that could do all the tricks and stuff. I wanted to be like them, but I have something else to offer. So.
I was gonna say something really similar.
Yeah.
Because I would tell my younger self, having to do with dance, is that there is a spot for everyone. Because I feel like there's a lot of things in dance, either like specific shows or specific jobs or wherever, where you have to be 5'4" and under, or you have to be 5'10" and taller, or you have to be this
build,
color hair, this build. And
that's just the way it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that is the industry we're in. I wouldn't say it was like an insecurity, because I did love it about myself, but I had a lot of restrictions because of my height, because I'm really tall. So a lot of my goals in dance I thought were never going to be possible because of my height. Now that I'm like older and I've experienced more things, I've talked to more people, and I realize there's like such a bigger industry for tall dancers actually.
Yeah.
Before I did ships, I had no idea I could ever work in like Paris, Germany, do like a Europe dance job.
Yeah.
Never thought about it before. And now all of my friends are saying like I'm the perfect height to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's always a spot for what you offer. Also, that opportunities given to someone else doesn't take an opportunity away from you.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. And then I'd also tell her, sing, 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 sing. Sing from the, as soon as you can start talking, sing. I didn't realize at the time that I would want to do musical theatre, or maybe I did, but I just didn't realize that you had to be a triple threat. And so I only started singing when I went to college. Even if like my voice wasn't better, my confidence would be so much better if I'd started singing young. So if anyone is out there and you don't know where you want to end up with your dancing, potentially Broadway, West End, whatever, start singing.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd also say try every style.
every style.
There's been so many times where someone asks me to do something and I'm like, oh yeah, I took that ballroom class that one time. Everything helps.
Yeah, like if you do ballroom, it's gonna help you with like your footwork for other things.
Random fact about you both that would surprise people.
Should we do it for each other?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Like
think.
if I think of something that would surprise them about you.
Okay, I have one.
Okay.
Eve is an incredibly fast eater. Like incredibly fast.
I feel like that's in one of your vlogs somewhere. Yeah.
I have never noticed the speed of which I was eating until I met Eve.
Yeah, I could say the opposite. Christina's an incredibly slow eater. Like,
we just haven't really noticed how fast and slow the other one is.
Yeah.
As soon as the plate comes, I have to focus and I have to start
eat.
eating
And I'm
so
having
that we
to
can
start
finish at similar times.
and I have tried to slow down, but I don't even notice I'm doing it until all my food is gone.
Yeah, but I'm the same way.
Yeah.
The other day, Eve made me some pasta, which was amazing. But she was done before I put my fork in the pasta.
If it's like sat there for too long, I don't want it anymore, so I need to eat it when it's hot and fresh.
Yeah.
Whereas like you can eat it like 20 minutes later when it's like gone all like stale. Yeah, that is a fun fact about me. And a fun fact about Christine. Let me think of one for you that like people wouldn't know about you. Is you've got selective hearing. Everyone's sat having a conversation and you think Christine is listening and then she's like, wait, what are we talking about?
Or I ask a question and they had just answered it.
We've just been talking, or like she starts a conversation about something and we're like, that's what we've been talking about for the past 10 minutes.
Right.
You zone out. She zones out conversations.
I do.
It's a beige flag because it doesn't actually matter.
So many of the times it's because I'm thinking of other things. I'm like deeply thinking about something else that I then
You're not
zone
focusing
out.
on,
Especially if it's a group. If it's like you and me, I'm gonna be listening.
Yeah.
But if it's a group of people and they're clearly having a conversation, I might just kind of slowly start having my own conversation in my head.
But it's okay because I'll fill her in.
Yeah. Okay, what were yours and Eve's best and worst moments of your contract?
Oh.
Best moments, and this isn't like a specific moment, but best moments, us just hanging out as a friendship group, like tiny little just us sitting on the cafe couch chatting and catching up, and then our friends like walking past and joining us in the cafe.
Like that's honestly what I miss more than any of the places that we went. I miss having everyone there.
Like when I think of what do I miss the most of the contract, it's definitely just like my people and having all my people together.
Do you have any specific memory of that?
You know what, a really good moment, because we were talking about it yesterday, was when we went on that hike in, was it Juneau? Yeah, when I was really mad. Yeah, I was.
That's your best moment.
No, because I went on this hike and I'm not gonna lie, I was in a terrible mood.
Oh, you're proud of yourself afterwards.
I was in an awful mood, and Eve was like, no, it's okay, let's go. And I said, okay, as long as Eve's there, we're gonna have a fun time. We had 2 other guy friends there, and as soon as we started hiking and we started chatting, and it like became one of my favorite memories. And I even remember afterwards, don't worry, I apologized for my mood. I tried to, but it was something that I was like, why did I let my mood almost ruin this memory when it ended up being like one of my favorite things that we did.
When we first started, the reason why you were like, it's because you didn't particularly want to go on the hike at that moment. Actually, it ended up being great. And it was really fun. We made our TikTok.
We did.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun that hike actually. That's nice. It's turning a negative into a positive.
Yeah. Alright, my worst moment. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. One of my worst moments, which I feel I can share now, is that I was not particularly passionate about one of the shows we were performing.
Would you say it was more like the the beginning.
Yes.
That would be your worst moment.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
the install of it.
Actually, probably the worst moment I can tell you was actually towards the beginning of the contract, which said a lot because I was fearful that this was going to affect the trajectory of the rest of my contract. Like, personally, I had a very rough install process with one of our shows, and it affected my confidence like greatly.
For the rest of it as well.
I honestly like have never been so low in my confidence, I think, ever. As a dancer, you are judged by the way you look. That's just kind of what comes with the job. But when you're already in a very low self-confidence state, and then someone says something to put you down, and then it's about your dancing, you just feel like you're never gonna come back from it. So I was in a very low spot at that point, and I think that those are the moments where I like am so thankful that Eve was there, because Eve was the one who like got me out of that. Was like, you know that this isn't true. You know you shouldn't believe this about yourself. Honestly, what people are saying doesn't matter.
Yeah, a few more days. It ruined the whole, it did tarnish the whole show for you, really. But by the end, I feel like you did have a different, like,
by the end of the contract. And that's another thing where it's like, now I can look back and be grateful that that happened at the beginning of the contract. It affected my motivation to perform to the level that I know I'm capable to perform at. And at the end of the contract, I looked back and realized I didn't do it for anyone who said anything negative about me. I did it fully for myself, and I saw how much I grew as a person. And also, on top of everything, I'm sorry, Eve, but I never missed a show. And that was like crazy for me, because on that show there were so many times that I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get on stage. Like genuinely, I've never been through that mentally, where I was like, mentally I'm not sure if I can walk on stage. At the end of the contract, I was like, I never missed a show. So that was like a really crazy proud moment of myself. But that was my worst moment, and I'm sorry I can't give any more details than that. And what's crazy is that like I was recording all of it when I was filming in Miami. I was down a lot of the times in Miami, but you also see the positive, and I have a show that I also absolutely love. And I have friends that got me through those times. And
you're still getting on stage and performing.
Exactly. At the end of the day, that's what I'm passionate about.
But that's something that they probably would never have known.
Yeah, you would have never known that. That was really, really hard.
My best moments, I would say probably similar. Genuinely, moments where you just are like, oh, I'm so happy. Like, it wasn't even particularly doing something. I mean, we did some amazing things. The hiking, the swimming with sharks, like Hawaii, everything was so fun. I have like really good memories of us like sitting on, like I loved in New Zealand, we had the sounds day where we would all just sit outside, and it was like the most gorgeous views, and we'd all just sit outside and hang out. Like I have really nice memories of like stargazing at night.
Remember the night we all sat out and there were so many shooting stars?
I miss just like, we would sit in the cafe and just people would walk in and then they'd sit down and then we'd be there for hours. Kerry would come over, we were talking about this last night, and she'd come over about 10 p.m. and we'd be going to watch a movie. At 4 a.m. would arrive, 6 hours later, and we'd been like, we haven't even pressed play and it's 4 a.m. I loved the closing night of The Beautiful Dream. That was like so emotional, that whole closing night. Oh, I know what my worst moment is. I actually had a few. Yeah, I had a few, but I've come up with a good one. Worst moment, I did have a few. I was injured. That really sucked when I was injured. I would say the worst moment that like sticks out to me as like a really hard moment was us leaving our last day. That, I have never been so sad in my life.
Honestly.
Like,
it
genuinely.
Felt like a breakup, but you're breaking up with like so many people.
And it just, you know, when you don't, so you're like, we were ready to go, we were ready to be done, because it gets to a point on a ship where you're like, okay, I've been here long enough now, I do need a break. But knowing that like all your friends live like all over the world, we knew that we were going to see each other, so that was okay. But it was like, when are we all going to be together again? Like, we're not. When are you all going to be living just down the corridor from me? That was really sad.
Oh my gosh,
just that whole like saying goodbye, it really sucked. I like, couldn't stop crying. Yeah
so much.
And then you get back home, and like I was so excited to be back home, but I just was so sad. Also, I had food poisoning at one point. That really
Twice.
Too. Twice in the contract, yeah.
Twice.
I had some bad luck on that ship. It was when I was injured. There's 1 week in the life.
Yeah, and you're barely in it.
Yeah. But then the other week in my life, that was a really fun week. Just that whole
4th of
week.
July.
Yeah. When I got to go on as a singer.
All of this is on my channel, which makes it so fun. Like, we could always watch back. Okay, so I found these questions that we're going to ask each other. Eve hasn't seen them, but I haven't really thought about them, to be honest. All right, the first one is, if we switched lives for a week, what's the first thing you would do as me? Switched bodies, switched lives.
I'd start speaking Spanish.
That's a good one.
Wait.
That's true.
Oh my gosh, if I all of a sudden knew Spanish and I was living in Spain, oh my gosh, I'd just go around and be speaking Spanish to everyone. I did it at school and everything, but I really struggle with it. So, and my other best friend also speaks Spanish.
Who you guys met in the last video.
Yeah, she also speaks Spanish, and so I would just love to be in on that. I think they were speaking Spanish to each other, and I was just sat there like, I just really wish I need to try and learn again. I'd do a backflip. Front aerial. No, but first thing I would do is speak Spanish for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. I feel like I'd work out at the gym. I feel like I tell Eve all the time, she's just so strong.
Yeah,
like she is so strong. Like she did, how many days in a row did you do the 12 through 30?
I did 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Every day she would get up and go do a 12 through 30, which if you know is like a 30-minute incline walk.
I also think that comes with I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're in my body, you'd really you'd feel my enjoyment of it.
Yeah. I wish I could run, but I really can't.
Yeah, you're going to run.
I would go on a run if I was Eve. Eve just like whips out a 10K. Haven't ran in a few years. I just figured I'd run 10K today. I would love to take a class as you.
Oh yeah, like dances.
Yeah, I would love to dance.
Be so weird.
I would love to dance like Eve.
Yeah, and like see like what you pick up.
And how our brains
how your brain picks up. So yeah, that's crazy.
I think that's the main one. I would love to take a dance class as Eve Roberts.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's a little deep. Is there anything you wish I understood better about you?
No.
I feel like we understand each other pretty well.
Maybe when I'm trying to say something, except you still understand it. When I lose my words, you can still understand when I'm just saying nothing because I can't get the words out.
I do. I'll speak for you sometimes. I'll be like, oh, I know what you mean because blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Not that you don't understand it, because I know you do understand it, and the more we've talked about our upbringings, you understand it more. But I almost just like wish I could bring you to where I grew up and experience it. Then you would really realize why I think the way I do now. Yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah, but I think even then, because of my upbringing, I would see it in a completely different way to how I would be seeing it through my eyes. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's almost like something I need to do in your body. Where you grew up in the US and where I grew up in Scotland are like polar different, really. I know what you mean. I understand it when you're speaking, but I don't understand it because I have never. To see how we both were raised, then you would really see how we think the way we think, and why we are the way we are. But we both understand. We both understand it, but you'd understand it even more, like on a deeper level. Yeah. What is the funniest thing I've ever done that still cracks you up? Oh my gosh! Wait, there is something. Let me think about it. When I actually died. Kristine, so I said this in the last video that we did, like where it was like a sit down, get to know me. It was something like something that they wouldn't know, and I was like, that you were so funny. It's funny, and like again, you have to put this in, when you're flirting, like not flirting, but like the way you would like speak to guys on the ship just made me howl. Like your little mannerisms. Someone said something like your like reaction to it would be like really sassy or really funny when you fell over. We were really tired, we hadn't really slept, and we were running late to something. But I feel like this is laughing at both of us because it really described us. It did. I was like, we have to go. Like it was like we literally had about 2 minutes. Yeah, it was at 8 AM. We had just been in Hawaii the day before, so we were exhausted. We were running to fire cleaning, and Kristine fell over on the stairs. I was just laying there, and Eve's like, let's go.
But so I suppose I'm also laughing at myself because I was like, we gotta go.
But there was no laughter at this point.
No.
I had just fallen down the stairs. I whacked my water bottle. Eve's like, let's go. I get back up. We run to barrier cleaning. We're at barrier cleaning.
And then we
look at the water bottle. It's dented. I just face planted down the stairs.
We didn't even process it. We just got back and kept running.
Okay, I will say Eve is like, I feel like if you just met Eve on the side of the street and you just talk to her one day, she's very level-headed. And then you get to know Eve on a deeper level and she's just hysterical and chaotic. And it's those kinds of moments that just make me laugh, and I'll look at her and I'll say, like, what are you doing today? She's like keeping a song on her phone, throws her phone across the car.
Things
Eve
like
gets
that.
these like zoomies
Yeah,
sometimes.
I get zoomies.
But that's the thing, you'll go from being like very level-headed, very chill, and in a split second she'll get the zoomies, and then it's like everything is chaotic and I just join her with it. But yeah, like we'd get in that little cabin and we'd sometimes get so like, what's the word, cabin fever, and we'd literally just be like, and we're both just like two balls of energy in this little cabin, like running everywhere. Last question, if you could relive one day of our friendship, what day would that be?
I think probably Kona. Is that just because we were in Hawaii? But I mean, we had so much fun. Or honestly, the other day, I would relive that, but because it just happened, it doesn't feel like it. But when we met in the girls' bathroom, we did their baking, that was a really fun day.
I would relive that day any day. That
really,
was one of the best days of my life.
And like the whole day was really, really fun.
And doing it with Eve made it like 10 times more special. I'm so glad I could record that. There's some memories that like at the time were probably so sad and we were like very upset. But then coming out like today, I would say, oh, I'd love to relive that because like Eve was there with me and Eve had my back, or I had Eve's back. I have a lot of moments where I can remember and look back and be like, okay, as long as I have Eve, like everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, we really there was moments like that with our friendship where it was just like, okay, we have each other. So you know what keeps coming to my mind, which is so random, but the day we went into Seattle, of all places, and then we went to like Glossier. I don't know why. I just remember being like, oh, because I feel like we hadn't had a day just the two of us for a while, maybe. Oh, or a little date night in Victoria.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was really cute.
That was nice.
We had this one day that we just like, I think everyone went to go do something else.
It was because Katie's parents were coming, surprising.
Oh yeah.
Our friend Katie, her parents were surprising her in Victoria, and so they had booked it for them and like a few of the girls, and Katie was like, oh, why don't you guys come? Like that she didn't know that her parents were coming, so we had to be like, we are doing something, the two of us.
Yeah, we're like, gonna have a little girls date night.
Yeah, we're having a roomy date night. Yeah, got ready, like getting ready is fun.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like because these aren't like days, they're just like moments. But there are so many times where like something would happen and I could not wait to come back to you and debrief.
Talk about it, and
like even now, like something will happen and I'm like, that was exciting, but I actually cannot wait to tell you. So many of those moments are like so fun. We're so lucky.
And we're always just on the same page. That's what I like. So for example, in Hawaii, like we had rented this car and it was like, let's just go driving at night. Like while the roads are quiet, put the roof down, sing some songs.
Listen to
it was raining.
Favorite songs.
And we were just like, we were both just like, yeah, let's do it.
Guys, I'm so glad we did this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any more questions or anything you want to add, you can leave them in the description down below. Make sure you follow us both on Instagram. I'll have them linked down below. Make sure you subscribe to the Patreon so that maybe you can help if we do another type of these videos, and you get to see exclusive behind the scenes content on there. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having the very best day, and we'll see you in the next video.